I'm going to start with some personal information. Before my children were born, my daughter's about 6.5 now. Before they were born, my wife said something to me that I'm going to share with you now. She said, "I want our children to be as confident as you are." To which I confidently responded, "I can do that." And then almost immediately admitted, "I have no idea how." So I've spent the last 6-7 years actually exploring that. So what I'm going to share with you now is what I've learned sort of from two realms, the world of educational psychology and from my own personal experience related to that. So, and I'm going to start with a seminal work in the world of educational psychology. In the 1960s, a Harvard professor by the name of Richard Rosenthal began a series of experiments. He went into different classrooms and administered an IQ test to all of the students in the class. And then, without scoring the exam, he told the teachers of certain students, they selected random students, and told their teachers that these students, based on the results of this test that they hadn't scored, were going to go through an intellectual blossoming over the course of that year. They were also told, the teachers were told that they could not tell the students about the results. So at the end of the year, the researchers came back and tested all of the students again, gave them all the same IQ test. Every one of the students who had been selected at random increased their scores. In other words, they got smarter. By the most objective measure of intelligence that we have, they got smarter. See, when we think about success, we think about where we're going, our capability, it's not left just to us. It's something we experience with and through others. And it's basically a series of decisions, choices. And if you're going to be successful, you have to make the right choices. You're going to make some wrong choices and learn from them. So as you go along the way, those choices you make are based on a number of factors. And it's not quite as simple as it might seem, but I'm going to try and explain it to you using this example. So imagine it's just you and I, okay? In making a decision about how I'm going to behave in front of you, there aren't just 2 of us. There are actually 8 of us, okay? The first 2, that's who you really are and who I really am, okay? Now, we don't really often bring that person to the conversation because we like to protect them. We don't want to make ourselves vulnerable. Often they don't come into the conversation unless our values or something that we believe in is being challenged. The next 2, the first one is who you think you are and who I think I am. Okay, that's often referred to as our ego. So that's the voice inside your head that tells you not only where you've been and who you are, but it's aspirational. It's telling you where you want to go. So that voice is not actually you. It's only part of you. Okay? Now here's where it starts to get a little bit complicated, so stay with me. The next 2 are who you think I am and who I think you are. Okay? So now we don't know each other. We just met. I came up on stage. You heard a little bio about me, but you would be able to infer some things. I'm on the stage, so I'm probably, I have some experience speaking in public. You can tell that I'm a middle-aged white male, that I'm American. Maybe you can infer some other things from my appearance, my mannerisms, or even my accent. But the better you know someone, the better you can predict how they're going to behave or the choices they're going to make. But here are the 2 that matter most, okay? There's who I think you think I am and who you think I think you are, okay? The reason these 2 are the most important are because these are the 2 that we base our behavioral decisions on. Okay, so I'm going to decide how to act based on what I think you think of me. For example, if you're my teacher and I'm your student, and you think I'm a genius, I'm going to work extra hard to prove you right. If you think I'm lazy and I can't learn math, well, I'm probably going to give up. Definitely not going to learn from you. See, it's the process of defining ourselves that programs that voice in our head. So how we talk to ourselves. I'm going to ask you 3 questions to think about in relation to this. Who are you? And more importantly, how do you know who you are? And how can you change? Now, this first question is probably one of the most important questions many of us ask ourselves throughout our entire lives. And the answer is always changing. So I'm going to give you a quick gap fill. Take a moment. You didn't know there was going to be a quiz today, right? As my father says, life is a test. I am blank. Take a moment. Fill in that sentence for you. Whatever pops into your mind. See, I think this is one of the most powerful forms, one of the most powerful sentences in the English language. I am, the verb to be. You are or you are not. For as many different ways as you can fill that in, for as many different forms or adjectives or nouns or whatever you want to describe yourself as soon as you do, you are that thing. You are not that thing. It's powerful. It's defining. So we'll get back to that question because I want to look at the second one before we do that. How do you know who you are? Well, pretty much we know ourselves through our relationships, through relationships with other people. When we start our life, when you're born, it's the people around you. They imprint upon you your first sense of self. They tell you who you are. You're so smart. You're kind. Oh, you're a good artist. You're a troublemaker. Or as my wife said this morning, I told her this is going to get in here. She said to my son, "Oh, you're just like your father." And that's the reality. We tend to accept that until we start pushing back, right? In our adolescence, we start to form our preferences. We push back on the world. We say, "No, I don't like that." We try on different personalities until we find parts of them that fit. And then as you go up, you grow up, those begin to become more normal, and eventually your preferences become habits, and your perceptions become your beliefs. Okay, that's how you know who you are. So what about the next question? How can you change? Well, the thing about change is it's measuring a difference between where you are now and where you want to be in the future, or where you're going, even if you don't want to be there. So the distance between where you are now and where you're going is measured by the choices you make and the experiences you have between the current state of you and the future state of you. Now, I want you to, and all of this happens inside your head. Your brain, our brains is one of the most amazing black boxes, so to speak, that we can imagine almost anything, except we can't imagine a negative, okay? For example, for the next 10 seconds, whatever you do, don't think about pink elephants. Seriously, stop thinking about pink elephants. Why are you still thinking about pink elephants? Because of the suggestion, you can't not think about something you've just imagined. Now, another quick example. Imagine right now, if you close your eyes, I want you to imagine you are running through a jungle and you are being chased by a hungry lion. Oh my God, he's right behind you! I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to scare you. I think I scared myself. See, the thing is, your brain, that part of your brain that can imagine anything, it is connected to parts of your brain that don't know the difference. You got chills there. Your heart rate just went up. Some adrenaline just got released into your body at the mere suggestion of two things you probably have never experienced. How many of you have ever been in a jungle or seen a hungry lion? Right? So this is the thing. You can imagine almost anything. And here's why it matters, because when you think about success, when you think about that future, whatever you believe is going to happen, is going to happen. Okay? What Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Now, in psychology, this is referred to as self-efficacy, all right? And which is basically, it's your belief in your ability to accomplish a task, to work towards that future. Where does it come from? It comes from 4 places. The first one is mastery experiences. Where you are now in your life, you can stop and look back at a series of accomplishments that prove to you you can grow, you can learn, you can be successful. You build on those and you turn to the future and you know you can take another step. Those are your mastery experiences. They come from vicarious experiences. When you see somebody that you respect or consider to be a peer, someone you think is about the same level as you, when you see somebody accomplish something you didn't think was possible, it suddenly opens up a door in your mind to say, hey, maybe I could do that too. So suddenly then you get rid of a self-limiting belief. It also comes from social persuasion. This is somebody cheerleading you on. This is going to be a teacher, a parent, a friend, a coach, a mentor, or even your favorite song or album or a really inspiring video on YouTube, whatever it is that gets you out of bed. And then finally, your physiological or your emotional states. And that basically means you need to put your mind and your body together in the work you're doing if you're going to be successful, the choices you make. And I'm not saying, by the way, and this is really important, I am not saying that it means you need to get over your fear or you need to avoid stress or wait until everything in your life is perfect before you move forward. If you wait for those things, you will never act. You need to push through your fear. You need to accept the fact your life is never going to be in perfect order. Done is better than perfect. And you are going to, and I would suggest, use the stress as fuel. That's what's going to drive you and give you the energy. As the author Jen Sincero so adequately put it, when it comes to changing your life, if you're not scared, you're doing something wrong. So, I want to share something kind of personal with you at the moment. That you may not believe this, but I'm actually really shy. I am. At least I used to be. In fact, I used to tell myself this every day. See, when I was in school, my entire career, from kindergarten through graduating from university, I never once raised my hand. I never volunteered to speak in class. If I had to, I hated it. I would get sweaty and nervous, never spoke in public until I was 25 years old. I was convinced if I open my mouth, somebody's going to, I'm going to say the wrong thing, I'm going to embarrass myself, somebody's going to call me stupid and make fun of me and laugh at me. And I refused to put myself out there. I only did it when I was 25 because I was tired of standing behind the scenes. And I didn't take a series of steps to get there to do that one. I put myself into a situation where I promised people that I was going to give a seminar, a 3-hour seminar, and I'd never spoken in public. And I gave myself 3 months to prepare for it with no way out. I don't remember the event. I really don't. I remember walking up in front of the audience. I remember opening my mouth, and I haven't shut it since. But this is important because here's what I've actually learned about what I like to call manufacturing confidence, because that's kind of what it is. You need to manufacture it. You need to create it, because at the end of the day, the biggest barrier to your success is you. It's the voice in your head. It's the voice in your head that's stopping you from doing something because they think it thinks it's a bad idea, or that you can't, or that I don't have enough money, I'm not organized enough, I don't have the credentials, I'm too busy. These are limiting beliefs, okay? So how can you change? You need to change the voice. Change what the voice is saying. What that voice tells you when you fail, when you fall down, when you fail a test, when you dent your car, when you do say something stupid, when you do make a mistake and you embarrass yourself, what that voice tells you determines what your next move is. So if it is hard on you, and I guarantee you no one will be harder on you than that voice. If anyone ever came up to you and said the things that we know you've said to yourself, you would never associate with that person again. So you need to change that voice. You need to make it positive. Okay? And by the way, when you consider that first question, that big one, who are you? Don't accept anyone else's definition of you, even if it comes as a compliment. Prove it to yourself. See, when I was about 14 years old, I used to play the trumpet. And I started learning when I was about 8 or 9, I think, because it was a requirement in my elementary school. And by the time I was 14, I was good. I got to the point where I was actually performing solos in public. And the most common compliment that I received, "You're so talented." "Oh, you're so talented." I hated that. It felt like an insult. Couldn't understand why then. All I would think was, I'll show you, success. Was what they were doing when somebody calls you talented, they're dismissing all of the hard work, all of the sweat, the tears, the effort, the choices, the decisions, the practice that you put in to develop a skill to get where you are. And in a way, making themselves feel better by saying that you have something that's outside of you that you don't have control over that gives you that ability. So yes, talent is a thing, but it's only a starting point. So even if somebody calls you creative, a natural, or anything like that, I can kind of consider them well-intentioned, backhanded compliments. Don't accept them. You get to decide who you are. Who you are is determined by the choices you make, what you do, and how you respond. So if you want to be successful, here's what I've really learned. The most important thing that you can do is forgive yourself. Okay? When you complete this sentence for yourself, I am, insert positive language. Don't let the voice inside your head tell you not to. Say, I'm strong. I'm hardworking. I'm tenacious. I'm capable. I am studious. I'm compassionate. I'm caring. I'm driven. I am unstoppable. Because you are, if you stop stopping yourself. You're unique. And wherever you're going, whatever your vision of success is, be enough. You'll get there. Smart is not something that you just are. Smart is something that you can get, just like anything else in life. Success is I'm sorry, I almost misspoke. Success is a numbers game. The more chances you take, the more you will fail, but the more opportunities you'll have to be successful. Success starts with failure. Learning means never failing the same way twice. So you have to go out, you have to try, fail, learn from it, get back up. This is called self-compassion. Forgive yourself. Get over it. Nobody's going to hold it against you longer than you will. So the faster and more resolutely you can stand back up and keep going, the more success you will be able to talk yourself into.